I would recommend that you first watch the rest of my Pac-Man reviews that I've done before watching this one. But hey, with that out of the way, let's take a look at the last Pac-Man game for the PlayStation 2, Pac-Man World Rally. Now, I have a confession to make. I don't particularly like racing games. Don't get me wrong, when I get around to playing some more traditional racing games for the PlayStation 2, I'll try to be more open-minded and fair to them. But for the longest time, I would avoid racing games because I never really had an interest in them. That all changed when my dad decided to rent Mario Kart Wii for a night, and on that magical night, I discovered I quite like kart racing games. So when I found out there was a Pac-Man kart racing game for the PlayStation 2, I kinda got a little excited. Now, after having played the game, was it worth getting excited in the first place? Is Pac-Man World Rally even worth playing? Well, why don't we start things off with that story? Oh wait, there is no story. Well, good. After all, this is a kart racing game. It's just meant to be dumb fun, so a story really isn't that necessary. Let's just move on to the gameplay. There are 4 main modes to the game: Circuit Mode, Quick Race, Time Trials, and Battle Mode. Starting things off, we have Circuit Mode, where you must race in a cup that has 4 different tracks to race on, and you'll have to get first place in the overall cup to unlock other cups, and other stuff. Okay, why don't we just get this out of the way here. Pac-Man World Rally is very much like that of Mario Kart. Now, I don't mean that in terms of them both being kart racers. I mean Pac-Man World Rally really copies some elements of that of Mario Kart. This isn't meant to be an insult. After all, Mario Kart is fun, and as long as Pac-Man World Rally is fun and tries to bring something new to the table and does it well, then I'm okay with this. First, we have 5 cups: the Cherry, Grape, Watermelon, and Classic Cup, which all have 4 tracks, except for Classic, which only has 3. Rally Cup, on the other hand, has you race through all the tracks, which is quite a more interesting challenge to me rather than just mirroring the tracks. Just saying. That's cool and all, but the real question here is, how good are these tracks? For the most part, they're actually pretty good in both how they look and how they are laid out. You have some more simple tracks like Cloud Garden, Jungle Safari, and King's Course, though there are some very crazy confusing tracks as well, mostly being later tracks like Fun House of Terror, which divides into 2 different track options, or Retro Maze, which honestly is an awesome idea for a track but is super easy to get lost in. While the rest of the tracks are just fun, competently done tracks, which is good, as in a kart racing game you want more good tracks rather than frustrating tracks. What helps with these tracks is that they are also good to look at and have some fun themes. Colors just pop in this game, though again there are a bit too many colors in Fun House of Terror. I guess crazy looking killer clowns really can make things worse. What helps complement the colors is the cartoon style that just makes everything seem so fun and inviting. I mean, just look at how funny yet adorable these dinosaurs are. The themes are pretty fun too, with some of my favorites being Ghost Mansion with its cool dark colors, large spider, zombie pack people, pack vampire, and a nice stained glass window. Arctic Iceberg with a large blue whale, nice mix of white and blue colors, simple layout, and very lovable penguins who all wear bow ties. And then we have Spooky's Castle, as I love spooky, and there are some fun things here like a fire-breathing dragon, axe-wielding knights, and a wizard who has a magical pot. While Classic Cup only has 3 tracks, I do like the concept behind them, like a Galaga track, as I love Galaga, even if the track isn't the best. A track based off of the original Pac-Man is a super cool idea, even if it's a bit of a confusing track. And a track based off of Katamari Damacy, which I love, and of course has a great theme to it as well since, well, you know, it's a song from Katamari. In fact, the music in the game is pretty good overall and has some rather memorable themes. Now, one of the things that makes these tracks interesting and stand out from Mario Kart are the fruit. Fruit can be found on tracks, and once you pick up a fruit, you can then access a shortcut in the track that corresponds with the fruit. It's a cool concept that, for the most part, is well done. Things only get super confusing or even annoying when racing on tracks like Retro Maze and, of course, Fun House of Madness. At the very least, the fruit reward players who know the track very well. However, this can be a bit annoying in multiplayer if you're playing against someone who doesn't know the tracks very well and will probably think of the fruit as cheating. Speaking of multiplayer, it's great that I can play this game with a friend, but you do know the PlayStation 2 has a multi-tap that allows you to play a game with up to 4 people. Right, Namco? I only ask because the game only has 2-player, which is a bit of an annoying nitpick, but I thought I should at least bring it up. Anywho, let's move on to the items, which you can pick up from item boxes. There are some fun but basic items here, like a fake item box, a pellet that makes you go faster, and a storm cloud that hits all other carts. Then we have the bombs that act just like the shells in Mario Kart. Green bombs bounce around, red bombs lock onto the racer in front of you, and blue bombs hone in on the first place racer. Yeah, sounds pretty familiar, doesn't it? To be fair though, I don't get hit by these types of items too often when playing the game. There is, however, one really cool item, and that would be the snowman. With the snowman, you just drop him behind you, and he will throw snowballs at racers who pass him. And that will include you, so, you know, keep an eye out for that. And if someone runs into him, then they will be frozen for a short amount of time. I just think he's kinda fun. If you run into green item boxes, you will get 3 of one item at once, which is kinda cool, and you can only access these boxes in shortcut areas, once again rewarding those who know the tracks very well. Not only that, but there are special items you can unlock, like a black bomb, which is pretty much a more destructive version of the green bomb, and Sir Pac-Man, who will block a hit for you with his shield and then can be thrown in front of you to strike down any racer. One of my favorite unlockable items is Syria the Ice Dragon, who shoots 3 ice blocks behind you and just looks so adorable. And then there's the more elusive item, the Gallica ship, which will fly next to you and shoot at oncoming items and other racers, which is so awesome. I just wish it wasn't so rare. So, how do you unlock these items? Well, on the tracks you can pick up Pac Dots, and after you've eaten enough Pac Dots, you can transform into a large Pac-Man car. When in this mode, all the other racers will become blue ghosts that you can then eat, and if you eat enough ghosts in the right cup, you will then unlock these items. It's kind of annoying, yeah, but the Gallica ship is totally worth it. The only other mechanic I should bring up here would be drifting, which for the most part works the same as drifting in most other kart racers, with one exception. While you're drifting, a bar will fill up, and once full, you will be able to activate a guardian angel or devil, it depends on the character, that will protect you for a short amount of time. It's an interesting mechanic, however, it takes quite a long time to get that bar full, so your guardian just kinda feels useless. You know what, let's talk about the characters here real quick. There's quite a lot of characters here to choose from. You have your basics like Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Pac-Man Jr., okay. And of course the 4 ghosts. And wow, would you look at that. Finally, Blinky and Clyde are properly named to the right ghosts. Yes! Then we have the villains from the Pac-Man World games, like Talkman from the first game, sorry Orson, Spooky from the second game, which is great because Spooky is great, and Irwin from the third game. Yeah, I still don't like Irwin, his model just doesn't fit well with this game, and to me his vehicle looks like crap. Just like him. Lastly, we have some bonus characters like Frygar and Puka from the Dig Dug games, which is cool as I love both of these enemies, and I quite like the Dig Dug games too. There's Pac Devil, who seems to have just been made for this game, which, yeah, sure, fuck it, why not, he's actually kinda fun. And of course we have the Prince from Katamari, which, yeah, you should know I already love this. What's cool is that all the characters have great and expressive models, which I love, and they each get their own personal vehicle that helps add to their personality. Each character is also a heavy, light, or medium class, with mediums being average cars, heavies being fast but have poor control and acceleration, and light characters having great control and acceleration but poor speed. As for the rest of the modes, well, Quick Race lets you play on whatever track you want at any difficulty, which, by the way, the easy and normal are very, very easy, so you might want to play on hard. Time Trials, where you can race on a track in the fastest time possible, which is something I never really got into. I've only done Time Trials in Mario Kart Wii because, you know, it's required to unlock things. Otherwise, I just skip these. Then there's Battle Mode, where you're thrown into an arena to fight off the other racers. It's cool, but the arenas are just a bit too big, plus the weapons aren't as great as I wish they were. Sure, it's cool to take the fruit and turn them into unique weapons like the banana ram, which is honestly a pretty awesome and useful weapon, but most of the weapons lack a lock-on, and again, it can be hard to get one because of how big these arenas are. I do like the look of the arenas, as the desert one has a nice Easter egg to it, by having the giant fish monster from the canyon track in the shortcut area basking in the sun, probably to death. At least the battle mode is better than Mario Kart 8's, which just, what the fuck is this? How did you mess up so bad? In the end, is Pac-Man World Rally worth playing? Yes, I would say so, especially if you like kart racing games. Sure, the game isn't perfect, but it's very competently made, and I appreciate that. You and a friend can easily spend a good 2 hours having some fun, and that's all a kart racer really needs. From what I can tell, the PSP version might actually be better as it has 2 extra characters, an extra track, and arena, which is cool. But for the PlayStation 2, yeah, it's a good kart racer and one of the best ones I've played for the system. So, after having taken a look at all the Pac-Man games of the PlayStation 2, how well do I think Pac-Man did? I think Pac-Man did okay. We've got 2 really good games that I actually enjoyed playing, those being Pac-Man World 2 and Pac-Man World Rally, with 2 other lackluster games, Pac-Man World 3 and Pac-Man Fever. Pac-Man certainly did better than Spyro, which is honestly rather disappointing for me, but if anything, it shows that if put in the right hands, Pac-Man is still an enjoyable and entertaining experience. I will admit that because of the recent change in character design, I've avoided the recent Pac-Man games, which, yes, is rather petty. Maybe they're good, I don't know, but all I can hope is that Namco will give the Pac-Man series to great and competent developers, then he can still be a great platforming character and not just an arcade classic. Sure, he will never become a rival to Mario, but as far as I'm concerned, Pac-Man will always be a classic to me. Well, it's been about a year now since I took a look at a Sony mascot platforming series during the PlayStation 2 era, so I think it's time we take a look at another. See you all then.